Patrick Childress on Brickhouse. The other day, Rebecca and I were on a long bicycle ride in Sri Lanka when we stopped in front of a small shop, and I couldn't believe what I saw in the window. They had 4 cans of R134A. Why I was so surprised is that once you leave America and cross the Pacific, these cans can be very difficult to find. They are available in American associated islands like the Marshall Islands or the island nation of Palau, the famous scuba diving destination. But past that, you run into problems like in New Zealand, Australia, Malaysia. It's illegal to sell gas refrigerant to the general public. You have to be a licensed technician to buy it. In the Philippines, you can buy, although the small cans aren't available, you can buy a commercial size, repairman size tank of refrigerant. I think the smallest is like 2 kilos. That'd be twice the size of this can. And that goes for about $50. And what's nice about those commercial tanks is that the valve on top, when you close it, it seals. The problem with these smaller cans and these cheap little fittings that go on them, once you puncture the seal and you use your gas to top off your refrigeration system, over time the rest of it just leaks out, so these cans become a one-time use. But as you can see on this can, which is quite different from the American-made can, the top requires a much larger fitting to get the gas out. Hopefully, if I ever use this can with its proper adapter, because it has a much better, broader O-ring sealing, it'll be a better fit and no residual gas will leak out. Although it has Japanese writing on the front of this can, it doesn't say anywhere on it where it was made. China, Mexico, and America are some of the largest R134 manufacturers in the world. So I would only have to assume that this is a Chinese-made product. But one thing you have to be careful with is just what comes in these cans. This American-made can of refrigerant is pure refrigerant. This one has an additive of 2% oil. Now, most refrigeration systems, they'll have a pretty large war of oil already in them, and so if you add a little more, it's not going to be that big of a problem. But that's the important thing then, is when you do recharge your system, don't ever turn the can sideways or upside down. You want to hold it straight up, so it's only the gas that's coming out of the top and going into the refrigeration system. You don't want the solids down below going in. The other thing that'll certainly void the warranty on any refrigeration system and destroy it very quickly is other additives like stop leak or any kind of dyes for leak detection. In some of these foreign countries, of course, you can call a local technician to come out, but not always do these guys have the background to be working on yacht refrigeration systems. And in most of these countries, say like in Southeast Asia, a technician might make $15 to $20 a day. And that's right, it's in a day. That's the local economy. But as soon as they walk into a marina, they now want $75 for 2 hours, plus $45 for a speck of gas. Of course, that's going to be varying from individual to individual technician, but that's what we have experienced. That's what other cruisers have been charged. And you think, oh, it's cheap. But on the local economy, it's overpriced. So it's really not difficult to watch all those really great YouTube videos. There's some fantastic ones on how to troubleshoot and diagnose your refrigeration system and pick up the proper equipment to do it. One other thing too that these technicians that come out to your boat in these foreign countries don't have is a gas sniffer. They will use soap to put on suspected areas of gas leaks and then sit there and wait for a bubble to develop. They have never seen, or many of them have never seen, a little gas sniffer. You can buy these on eBay for $40 all the way up to $140. This one costs $40. It's very effective. So with a few tools, a little bit of knowledge, most refrigeration systems you can just keep running yourself, especially with all the great help that you get from the manufacturer. It seems like they're always there to back you up and give you the information that you need, that you might need to keep your systems running. But one other thing is that you can order like a dozen cans of refrigerant from the US and have them shipped to foreign countries, say like even in Malaysia where it's illegal to sell it to the general public, you can have it shipped in. The shipping, of course, costs more than the contents of the 12 cans, and it'll take about 6 weeks. But there's always that possibility. If you just can't find it anywhere else, you can ship it in and just be patient, and it'll show up. We'll come on down to the engine room, and I'll show you our 2 refrigeration systems. Welcome to my most favorite room on the boat. This is where we keep the sea frost refrigeration systems. The upper one is for the freezer and the lower one is for the refrigerator. I really like the idea of a redundant system just in case one goes out, we don't lose all of our food. These refrigeration systems take their cooling air through ductwork, this gray one and the blue one, from the main saloon. So you're having nice cool main saloon air come back into the engine room to cool these systems. These and other brands of air-cooled refrigeration systems are designed to operate in at least 110 degree environment, which what engine room ever gets that hot? But anytime our engine is running, we have this engine room blower operate because we want to blow all the hot air out of the room and bring in as much cool fresh air for the diesel engine to run properly. And as a byproduct, that helps the refrigeration units. This upper unit for the freezer has operated perfectly for 11 years. It's only because I screwed with this bottom one. You know, it's one of those things, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, I caused a little tiny leak in my messing around with the unit, and now I need to put in some new O-rings on a couple of fittings, and that'll take care of the tiny hair of a leak. Otherwise, these have been perfectly fine units all this time. So like I say, if they're good, don't mess with them. You don't just have to recharge a system because it's been around for a few years. It's only when it's terribly malfunctioning that you have to put more gas into it or do anything to it. When we bought these systems, I opted for the water cool assist. That's only because I already had a through hull in the bottom of the engine room, and that brings water up to this sea strainer and then to this March pump. This March pump is incredibly expensive, but it's been here for 11 years. Even though I've had to fix it with marine techs and a few other things, it's still operating. But the big thing with it is that it's a magnetic drive and it's very quiet. A much cheaper diaphragm pump will work, but they're very noisy, and I wouldn't use this water assist at all if we had to use the diaphragm pump and live with that noise. So like I say, we don't need the water assist for the sea frost systems, but it's very hot here in Southeast Asia, and it makes me feel better if it's just assisting the cooling. And if I put my hand outside on the discharge end of the through hull, I can feel just a little warmer temperature than what the seawater is. So it does seem like it's doing some kind of good. Well, I'll take you into the refrigerator box and I'll show you our potential spillover system if we ever needed it. Coming into the galley, you can see just how big the refrigeration box is. It comes all the way down to about right here. This is a void underneath just for air circulation. Up top we have the two control units for the freezer and the refrigerator. I had them open just a minute ago to make sure it wasn't too dirty to show you. And the partition wall is about right here. So it's all freezer over there and refrigerator over here. This exercise mat helps with a little bit of insulation on the top. Now, some partition walls in boats might come just about 2 or 3 inches from the top. That'll allow a spillover system, but since we have 2 separate units, the freezer on that side, refrigerator on this side, we have the wall coming all the way to the top. And if one unit, the freezer or the fridge, ever gives out, we can pull this tape off and expose holes to allow a spillover system, so cold can go that way if the freezer ever goes out, or vice versa. Well, I hope this video is helpful for you in your cruising up ahead,
And if it was, please give us a thumbs up. The button is just down below, and I believe it's on that side of the screen is a round circle. Sometimes it has a picture of a sailboat on it, sometimes a picture of me. I can't explain it, but if you can click on that, a menu will come up for subscribe, and it'd be very helpful if you did that. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you soon.